You wake up, make coffee, drive to work. You pay rent, pay taxes, pay your phone bill. But here's what no one tells you. Almost every dollar you spend passes through the same handful of hands. Not hundreds of companies, not dozens. 12 men, 12 investment firms. They own the banks, the media, the food, the pharma. They don't run governments. They don't need to. They own the companies that fund the governments. This is the story of the invisible ownership class and how they got there. My name is Host, and what you're about to see is not a conspiracy. It's a filing. Let's go back to 1924. A new idea emerges on Wall Street. The mutual fund, a way for regular people to own a small slice of many companies. For decades, it worked. Millions of families built modest wealth. Then, in 1975, a man named Jack Bogle changed the game forever. He invented the index fund, a product that tracks the entire market, automatically. No stock picking, no expensive managers, just own everything. It was brilliant, and it worked almost too well. By 2024, 3 firms manage over $26 trillion in assets. BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, the Big Three, and the world has never been the same. Here's the thing about index funds that nobody explains clearly. When you invest in an index fund, your money buys shares in hundreds of companies. The fund firm, say BlackRock, holds those shares on your behalf. But here's what most people miss. Holding shares means owning voting rights. BlackRock doesn't just hold Apple stock, it votes as Apple's shareholder. And Boeing's, and ExxonMobil's, and JP Morgan's, and Disney's. One firm, thousands of companies, an ocean of voting power. Now imagine Vanguard does the same, and State Street, and Fidelity. A 2017 study in the Journal of Finance found something alarming. Airlines with shared institutional owners charged higher prices because they faced less competitive pressure. When the same investor owns United and Delta and American, do they really want them competing? This is called common ownership, and economists are terrified by it. It means the invisible hand of the market might have a single puppet master. Let's put this in numbers. BlackRock alone is the largest shareholder in over 2,800 U.S. companies. That includes your bank, your grocery chain, your internet provider. The Big Three collectively are the top shareholder in 88% of S&P 500 companies. That's not a portfolio, that's an empire. And unlike a government, they answer to no electorate. No senator can audit them, no judge can dissolve them easily. They just accumulate. So who are the people inside these firms? Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, manages more money than the GDP of every country except the US and China. He's been called the most powerful man you've never voted for. And he gives advice, unsolicited, to world leaders, central banks, and heads of state. Not because anyone elected him, because everyone owes him, or at least owes his clients money. In 2020, the U.S. Federal Reserve hired BlackRock to manage its emergency bond programs. The biggest government on Earth hired a private firm to run its crisis response. No public vote, no congressional approval, just a phone call. This is how power works in the 21st century, not through tanks or ballots, through capital allocation. But here's where it gets complicated. In 2022, ESG investing exploded into the culture war. Conservative lawmakers accused BlackRock of using shareholder power to push climate agendas. Texas, Florida, Louisiana, billions pulled. The backlash was real. Meanwhile, climate activists said BlackRock wasn't doing enough. BlackRock was being attacked from both sides simultaneously. Fink wrote a letter in 2022 that would come to define the era. He said capitalism needed to evolve, that stakeholders, not just shareholders, mattered. The markets did not agree. 2022 was the worst year for 60/40 portfolios in decades. The same firms preaching long-term stability had built a system so interconnected that a single interest rate hike sent tremors through every asset class simultaneously. Remember 2008? Lehman Brothers fell because risk was hidden inside complex derivatives. Today, the risk isn't hidden in derivatives, it's hidden in diversification itself. Every pension fund, every 401k, every sovereign wealth fund, increasingly correlated. If BlackRock ever made a catastrophic mistake, the contagion would be unlike anything in history. And here's the terrifying part. They know this. Their own regulatory filings warn that their scale could amplify market instability. Too big to fail used to describe banks. Now, it might describe an asset manager. So what does this mean for you, for your savings, for democracy? Let's talk about prices first. Your grocery bill, your airfare, your cable subscription. When the same firm owns all the major competitors in an industry, price competition softens. This is documented. Multiple peer-reviewed studies, multiple industries. Now your retirement. Over 100 million Americans hold 401ks. The vast majority of that money flows into index funds, managed by, you guessed it. You are, whether you know it or not, a silent partner in the BlackRock empire. And now, democracy. This is where it gets philosophical. Corporations have corporate governance. Shareholders vote on who runs the company. When the big three control enough votes, no board member gets elected without their blessing. CEO, pay, climate pledges, labor policy, merger approvals. These are no longer just business decisions. They are soft governance of the global economy. And it's all perfectly legal. In fact, it's celebrated. There are no laws written to address this, because when these laws were written, this didn't exist. The Sherman Antitrust Act was designed to stop Rockefeller, not algorithms. And here's the cruelest irony of all. The ordinary investor, you, made this happen. Every time you invested in a low-cost index fund, you made the big three more powerful. You weren't doing anything wrong. You were doing exactly what they taught you. That's the genius of it. So where does this leave us? There are serious academics, regulators, and lawmakers who are alarmed by this concentration. The EU has begun investigating passive fund concentration. The US Senate has held hearings. Some economists propose mandatory divestiture above certain ownership thresholds. Others say the answer is radical transparency. Force every voting decision to be public. But here's the uncomfortable truth we have to sit with. These firms got this powerful because the system worked for most people, most of the time. The question isn't whether they're evil. The question is whether any private entity should hold this much power over everything. So I want to know what you think. Is this the natural evolution of capitalism, or the quiet end of competition as we knew it? Drop your answer below. And if this changed how you see your investments, share it. Someone you know needs to see this.